Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to your own Silicon Valley Tech Talks show, your go to place to learn about technology trends and innovations directly from the leaders. This is your host, Faisal Wattu from San Jose, California. In today's show, we'll talk about technology and innovation trends for mobile network industry in India and South Asia markets. We are fortunate to have Randeep Singh Sekhon as our guest today. Randeep is Chief Technology Officer at Bharti Airtel. Airtel is among the top three mobile service providers globally in terms of number of subscribers. Before Airtel, Randeep was Chief Executive Officer of Hutchison Try Indonesia based in Jakarta. Randeep brings 28 plus years of rich industry experience. So without any further delay, let's go and talk to Randeep and learn from his insights. Hello Randeep, welcome to our show. How are you doing today?
Hi Faisal, I'm good. How are you today?
Good, good. Thanks for joining. So Randeep, what are some of the key strategic priorities for Airtel in next few years? Which new technologies and use cases you are envisioning for your customers in India and South Asia?
Uh, First of all, the listeners, it's happy to be here. And those who don't know, India is a fiercely contested market where largely now the market is between two players, and the technology and the experience upmanship is being played out every month, every day, and to win the confidence of the customers. On network side, we have two priorities which has stayed over for last 4 5 years. Is the experience leadership, which means the experience of using our services, whichever services we are in all services. We are in services of mobile telephony, which is using 4G and 5G technologies. We are in broadband, which is using fiber and FWA as well. We are in DTH, which is direct to home technology for entertainment purpose. So customer can use any of these services. We always strive to give him the best experience. Hence, experience leadership is one of our key pillars, and that has stayed for many years. The second pillar we have in our strategy is cost leadership. In a market where the ARPUs are hovering around $3, you cannot have the luxury of spending a lot of money to create the product or the service experience. So you have to always balance these two between cost leadership and experience leadership. And these has been our strategies going forward. Of course, new services get launched and our approach changes, our use of technology changes, but eventually the pillars remain the same: best in class experience and cost leadership.
And Randeep, as you know, we're all living in AI age right now, and AI is impacting pretty much every industry. Which opportunities Airtel is seeing with AI? In other words, how do you plan to add more value to your customers using AI?
I think there are two parts of it. Is are we enabling some AI services? We are into data center business where under Nxtra, which is our company where we do data centers, there are a lot of companies who want to set up data centers for AI services. We'll be hosting that services in our data centers and provide connectivity to those data centers. So this is more like a B2B or enterprise service. But within Airtel, AI is also being seen as a big leverage for our future. Based on the two pillars I talked about, AI is actually used in everything. Let me give you 4 5 pillars where we are using AI. First is uh, Opex. Opex is the cost of running a network. I give you one example. When the networks are not being used, which is in night or lean hours for commercial locations, we tend to shut down the network capacity so that we can save on energy. This was being shut down using rules in previous years. But now that we are using AI and we are learning each and every cell, when the cell has low traffic and we can shut it down, and when the traffic comes back, we can bring it back. I can tell you our efficiency using AI algorithms of shutting down capacities in lean hours has doubled, which for a network of our size, which has 300,000 physical sites plus, our savings runs into millions of dollars every month. So just by tweaking the algorithm using AI, we could get more saving. Similarly, for experience, can you really track experience to really core and change network parameters on the go so that the experience can be improved? For example, there is, as you can see outside my window, it's very foggy today. So foggy means the traffic will run slow, which means some areas which generally the traffic is fast, the traffic will be slow and the mobile traffic also will be up. Can we on the fly change the algorithm to support a high traffic? This is what we are doing using algorithms, detecting a high requirement of mobile traffic and then changing algorithms and capacities to give high experience to the customers there. So this was not possible using machine learning or earlier tools, and it's possible using AI. On capex, the forecasting is very inaccurate or less accurate, if I may say. Traditionally, we have built, like I have been in mobile telephony since 1997, and we have been using Excel sheets to prorate how much traffic will come next year and build capex and networks accordingly. But with AI traffic forecasting algorithms, you can forecast really, really precisely with very high accuracy, which means your optimal use of your dollar to build networks is very sharp, and you can actually save on wastefulness. And other way, you can always provide the right capacity because you may be under projecting the capacity and you may be building less and hence having impact on experience. But we are also using internally AI. I want to give you more on it. For example, learning. Now, learning is one thing where you can go on to web and take any learning. You don't need to read a book nowadays. You can have a podcast like this one, or you could actually go to a YouTube, see a video about anything you want to learn. But then the sources are so many that it is very difficult to correlate and see which source should I read it from. What we have done is, using LLM models, we have put all the sources we had, which were manuals of the equipment we use from different OEMs, and the standard 3GPP standards, and the sources available through white papers, what others have done in research, put them all together and put into what is like a, you can say, like a metaverse kind of a thing for Airtel employees. And when they want to learn about something, like other day, one of my colleague wanted to learn about segment routing. So how do you want to learn? They will put onto that pod and say, I want to know about segment routing. It will help them with basics of segment routing. If they say, I want advanced, they can create a 5-day training program based on the sources we have for that. That was not possible earlier. And it is very amazing because when we were engineers, we had to read manuals and see and get the information what was there in the manual and not be aware that this information could be somewhere else also. So I think the learning has really accelerated using models like that. And then let's say creating mobs for changing a configuration, that was left to experts. And as you know, in today's world, human capital is so this thing. You may have an expert leaving, joining somewhere else, and the knowledge goes with that person. But you can use these tools to create mobs. How to create a mob to create a circuit or to configure a 5G cell, to do things like that. These are amazing possibilities which are now started to come our way using AI tools. And I think this is just getting started. We will be into a era where AI will help us to be even more efficient than what we are today.
Very interesting. Thanks for sharing, Randeep. So, Randeep, as you might already know, that 6G standardization is happening right now. And whenever this generational change happens in cellular, it's also an opportunity for new use cases and new innovations. So, I wanted to ask you, what are your expectations from 6G with respect to the markets you are serving, like India and South Asia? How can 6G solve some of the problems of these markets?
Well, I am in a very different camp as far as 6G is concerned, and this is my personal view, not Airtel views, is that we have not even used even 10% of what 5G can offer. And we still have 5G advanced on the anvil. And if we really see from 4G to 5G transition, 5G has not changed the life of consumers like you and me. I mean, we are just getting faster speeds. And if you were in a market, you were getting faster speeds on 4G, then your life hasn't changed any at all, absolutely zero. So in markets like India, yes, things have changed because our 4G networks were not so, they were so heavily utilized that the speeds were slow. Moment 5G came in, the mobile usage has really gone up and people are able to use almost 200 300 mbps of service on their normal mobile phone. But actually, even if you want to watch a HD video in a live streaming, you don't need more than 10-15 mbps. So this 200 mbps is like a overkill, but it just gives you cheaper capacity compared to 4G. If you look at use cases all at which had been touted of mobile gaming, AR, VR, all those haven't yet played out. And even if it plays out in an indoor scenario. In an indoor scenario, there are technology like Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 7, which can give you equal, if not better, because they're backhaul using low latency fiber backhaul experience for a indoor AR VR experience than what you would get it on an outdoor 5G AR VR experience. So in my mind, there are things about 5G which are yet to be tested: low latency, high IoT, The red cap is yet to play out. We don't see so many red cap devices. So there is a long runway for 5G yet to be monetized. And if we look at markets, even if you look at markets like US or Europe, 5G is not ubiquitous. We all travel, we don't find 5G everywhere. It is still yet to be made as a ubiquitous G. Still 4G is the ubiquitous G. So I think there are times since 5G will become ubiquitous G, new use cases of using 5G will come in. Today, all use cases are 4G use cases, performing slightly better with 5G because of high speeds. So 6G, which tends to give you a 5G plus latency improvements or throughput gains, I don't see any use case which 6G will solve. So in my mind, 6G should be seen as a more like a industrial G, which will solve campus problems, which will solve maybe industrial campus, maybe a big factory. But it is not a G for a ubiquitous G, where we will cover like a country like America or India or China or Brazil with a ubiquitous 6G coverage. The the money spent on capex rollouts and the energy we will consume will not pay back for the gains or any efficiency we'll get. So I think we should see 6G as an evolution for some industrial use case, and we should, as telecom ecosystem, double down on getting the maximum juice out of the 5G, where the investments have gone in, developments already there, let it play out before thrusting the world into one more economic capex sucking cycle. I think that is where my personal belief is we need to spend our energies not creating new standard, but maximizing the impact of the standard we have with our hands, and it is almost ubiquitous.
Randeep, for the technologists, researchers, and entrepreneurs who are listening to you right now in Silicon Valley and globally, can you mention few gaps or innovation areas where these folks can work on and perhaps collaborate with you and other folks in India?
I think if I look at my previous question, the 5G potential is yet to be realized. In my mind, it's a trifecta. There are three things which we have in our hand. On one side, we have a technology like 5G, which is an access technology, but it can be coupled with fiber, can be coupled with Wi-Fi 6, in future Wi-Fi 7. So it's an access technology or connectivity technology. On the other side, we have IoT, which means so much of measurements we are getting from different connected devices, and we are getting measurements from network. We are now having a world where network is seen as a platform, and it's called NAS, network as a service. You can do a API integration and get a lot of information from the network using a very simple, it could be a GSMA, Kamara, or any other standard API, and you can get a query from the network from that. So you have rich sources of data which are coming to you through access technologies which I mentioned, through IoTs which are here and now. It can be more. There could be connected cars, smart cities, smart buildings, smart home. There could be body sensors you and me wear. There could be so many of such IoT. And the third pillar in my mind is cloud and analytics, where AI sits. So all this data through access is coming into a cloud. It could be edge cloud, it could be remote cloud, and this data is processed and a use case gets created. Now this use case could be a safety use case, efficiency use case, new service use case. So I think for the innovators, for the guys who are creating new things, this platform is ready. This trifecta is ready. I would really encourage now people to use this platform and create use cases. India like markets a good platform because it's a good consumption economy. Anything which is related to a entertainment or a sport or a news, I would say they lap it up. So if we can create use cases around that, I think we will be very happy to participate with them to test those for our consumers. So I encourage all the innovators and the developers to use this trifecta of cloud analytics, IoT, and a lot of data APIs and access technologies like fiber, Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 7, 5G, 5G Advanced to create innovation.
Well said, Randeep. Thank you so much for joining our show. I'm sure audience learned a lot from your insights.
Thank you.